What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you're watching TWA Motorsports, and today, well, guys, we've got new tow mirrors, or new to me tow mirrors that I got off of Amazon. I'll list it in the description down below. I went back and forth on like the Boost mirrors, and honestly, guys, for the money, I just didn't see the point of spending that much. And their website's very confusing. They don't really explain well what you're getting. I found a set on Amazon that are already painted white. And so I decided to go with them. Maybe a huge mistake. They may fit like garbage. They may not work, but we're gonna see today. Now, I was really hoping to show you guys two things. Remember in the last video, we, I don't even remember what we did. Oh, we did the headlights. And, but in the video before that, we put this door on. It came with a really nice painted handle. Well, I say really nice. It's used. It's got some chips in it, but I wanted a set of white door handles. I just think it makes these things look a little nicer. It doesn't have this big black breakup on the door. So I ordered a set of door handles. Well, look, you can buy them already painted, and I was kind of excited to find a set that was already painted. I didn't have to take to my painter. And check this out. I got them in today with the mirrors by chance. They're textured. Like, who paints a textured? Oh, I was so bummed when I saw this. Obviously, this is for the driver's side. So, I don't know. Should we put those in? I might put those in for now. And then, because I can't return them really. I mean, I guess I could, but there's like a restock fee, and they're not very much. I mean, I'll list them in the description. I got them off of eBay. Like I said, they're painted to supposedly match, and they're somewhat close. But I'm just bummed that they're textured. Like, I've just never seen anybody paint a textured door handle before. I like this smooth finish that you see on ones like this. But either way, we're going to start on the mirrors. We'll see on the door handles. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do there. But look, guys, if you remember in the last video that we put these mirrors, well, not the last video, but the video where we put these mirrors on, we took the door panel off, and you guys got to see the process of doing that. So I won't bore you with watching me take this all off, but I need to get this old mirror out of place, which means I am going to have to pull my tape loose here and get to the spot where the mirror hooks on, which is looped in right here. You can see we got a couple plugs here, and then get the 10 millimeters out that hold this guy in place. So let's do that. And then we will grab, I think that's the correct mirror actually. And I think there's some additional connections to be made on that because it has some additional features. But let's start there. Let's get these 10 millimeters out. Let's push this little tab out, get this mirror out of the way. And then we will move on to putting that mirror on, which is just the reverse process, obviously, 3 10 millimeters. And it did come with extra ones. Got the old one off, got the new one set in here, and we'll talk about kind of some of the features here in a little bit. But guys, here's one thing I did notice, that I don't like this piece here. It sets weird, doesn't really fit right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the old off the original and put it on here. But in order to do that, we're gonna have to take a Phillips screw out of the center here. We'll pull this one off and put the factory one on. I think it'll fit a little nicer. I also noticed the wires are not nearly as thick on this guy as they are on the factory one. And I also noticed that on the black plug, you can only see there's only one wire. So I don't know, look, there's an additional wiring, which we'll get into later, but I'm not exactly sure how much stuff's gonna work when we get it installed. But we'll, let's get this switched over. I'll get it mounted with the 10 millimeters, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so right away, I could tell you that didn't work. I tried to switch that one over, it didn't fit correctly. So I put that one back in and I trimmed it a little, but I still need, you can see where this is kind of poking out right here, and I could probably shove it back in there. But look, they don't fit quite as great. See that right there? But they're snug, they're sturdy. And tell you what, let's unwrap these things and talk about some of the features that they have. So they've got turn signals. Okay, so remember I told you I wanted turn signals. They have painted caps, both top and bottom, and they come pre-painted the color of the truck. I don't know if they offer, I think they offer black, maybe red. I don't know what all colors they offer, guys, but I'll list a link to these in the description. Like I said, I got them off Amazon. They're not the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive. Like I said, I was looking at Boost and they seem to be, just depending on what you wanted, I didn't even know what half the stuff did. So these have turn signals, heat, they have outer side markers, and I believe they have, I think this one's for a backup, so it lights up when you're in reverse. I'm gonna have to peel some more tape off that. It's in like the crevice of this, but honestly guys, the paint isn't far off. It actually looks really good. But here's what I want to do. I want to plug this thing in and see exactly what features we got right out of the box. The other thing I'd like to do is I would like to maybe move our clips over to this guy. And then there is an additional plug. You see this guy right here. That's the one that came with the wiring harness down there in the floor. And I think that's for the reverse if you choose to use that. And maybe the running lights. I haven't even looked at the instructions, to be honest with you, because I want to plug it in. Let's see what features we have right now and then go from there. So aside from like shutting the door, all our mirror controls are on this side. So I figured let's just turn this thing on and let's try the turn signal first. Okay, so the turn signal works. I don't know if it's got a turn signal on the outside. It's got a running light on the outside, but does it work as a turn signal? I don't really know. Oh, it does. Sweet. Oh, it's in a sequential. Okay, so that's kind of neat. Right out of the box, just plugging it in, that stuff works. Let's see what else. Let's make sure that all right, so we know that works. Look, guys, the only part of the mirror that's going to adjust is the top. Okay, so the only part of the mirror that's going to heat is like the inner section here. So let's try the mirror. Okay, the down, up, left, right. Okay, so that all works right out of the box. So we've got turn signal, and we have power up and down. I'm sure the heat works because that all runs through that same blue plug on that. So, and the outer turn signal works. So if if a person wanted to finish up right here, you could be done. All right, so you don't have to hook up the other wiring pack that comes with it, but let's go grab the instructions and see exactly what that other wiring pack does. So let's talk about the function of the other plug. Okay, so we obviously plug the black into where the black would normally go. Guys, this is your turn signal, by the way. Everything else is controlled through the blue plug, okay, on the switch. Comes with that plug and play. The features that I just showed you, they all work. Now, let's say we want to make everything work. Well, we're gonna have to do some wiring, which means we're gonna have to run some wires into the cab, over to the junction box on the driver's side, which we will be doing, I think. So let's talk about what those features are. So I chose to get the switchbacks. And when I say switchbacks, how the switchback works is the light on the mirror that you guys saw when the turn signal was on. Now I'm talking about the light on the outside out here. That is normally orange, right? When we're turning during a turn signal, right? Well, when you don't have the turn signal on, it actually acts as a running light. So I think it would look really nice to have that because we've got the new headlights in with the running lights on those. And so in my opinion, I think it'd look kind of cool if we did that, hook that up. So that is what that other plug is for. So I'm gonna tell you guys what options or what things we need to hook up. So the gray in that plug, that external plug that's in the floor in there, is a ground. So we gotta put ground. The white is a positive for our backup light. And what that's going to illuminate is this guy right here when we're in reverse. So that's what this guy's for. Now, what we could do is use that as a puddle light because there's not a puddle light on the bottom of this thing. See, there's not one like the factory had on that one. That one had a puddle light. So we could hook it to the puddle light. So when we unlock the truck, that would come on. However, it'll come on also when if we hook it up to the reverse lights, because the reverse lights on GM stuff come on when you unlock, and it actually works that way as like a twilight setting. So I really think I want to do that, right? I want to hook it up to where when you are in reverse, this lights up. So that means when we unlock, this will act kind of as a puddle light. We could do it really easily by pinning it into the factory plug. to get it hooked up on for a puddle light purpose only. However, in order to get it to work with the reverse lights, we are going to have to run a wire over to that junction box on the other side. So that is my plan there. And then guys, the blue light is for a running light. So the blue wire in that plug, we're going to have to find a way to tap into our running lights. Now, like I said, I just duplicated the other side. Everything's working. You can see that I've got the flashers on so I can get both the turn signals without starting the truck. And we have that nice little sequential turn signal. Looks pretty nice, guys. I can't complain with the looks. And look, I was looking at this side because it still had the aftermarket tow mirror on it and it fit about the same. So I'm not going to complain too much about that. I hope it doesn't make wind noise. I don't think it's probably going to. This piece back behind is pretty thick, but and then we got our little foam piece on the inner. But I think these fit the truck quite a bit better than the other mirrors. It definitely kind of goes more with the look. A couple things we got to do now. So look, we got to get these lights hooked up to the mirrors, right? So it comes with this additional pin that you guys saw earlier. Also comes with wiring. This wiring needs to go through our door jamb here, and it needs to go all the way over to the box underneath the driver's side dash there. I don't know if there's enough here. Here's what I want to do though. I want to go ahead and I'm going to take the speaker out. I'm going to try to route this with the factory harness. Okay, so I'm going to tape it in some spots to follow everything up to this point. So like, look, if a guy ever had to unhook the mirror, you could unplug it, you know, kind of in this same area where the switches are and take the mirror off, if that makes sense. And I want it to look kind of factory. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to take the speaker back out, take this plastic off, and I'm going to kind of trace, like I said, and I'll just cut in here in a second. I don't know how easy this is going to be to get the wire through here. We may have to grab a clothes hanger, but we're also going to have to pop this guy loose all the way down, and we're going to have to get our trim panel out of the way, which that's not a big deal. This is actually broken. I got another one of these recently. Yeah, a couple of the clips are broke, but that's fine. And then we can pull this guy. It comes straight back towards you. I can do it with one hand. I think it's out of there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, so the clips stayed there, you can see. So we'll get the clips out and we'll get them reattached. It's pretty common. It's not broken, at least. But then this is where we're gonna pass through, where the stock harness goes in. Just to kind of catch up on what we did, we obviously took the plastic off, took the 10mm off, popped the little clip out of this guy that opens your door. I think that makes sense. Took the speaker out, pushed. See the clips on the top and the bottom? That's how these come out. It's really hard to get to this one, but we've got them both loose. You also notice that I took the side loose, right? So now what I'm gonna do is instead of dragging all this stuff, unclipping what we've already got clipped, I'm gonna drag it through the other way, get this little accordion piece straightened, and we'll pass this through. But like I said, I kind of want to tape it to the factory harness so it looks as factory as possible. I'm going to loop up in here just like this one does, and we're going to shoot over across the dash, which you'll see kind of what we have to remove to do that later. But let me get this kind of tied up and then I'll show you what I got. So these are the ones that come from the mirror. Okay, down. This is the one that we had, the three ones that we have to run to the other side. I went down this harness, wrapped it all in tape, all the way through there, poked it through the little accordion piece that goes in. I came up with the factory wiring connections. Okay, so you guys see that? Everything looks factory, and these are our 3 wires right here. So what we've got to do now is we've got to find a routing spot to get across the bottom of the dash and over to that junction box. Now, stretch that over there, Colin. See how far we got. Wow. It's probably going to be close. Okay, so we have the same harness on both sides. And what we're going to end up doing is, because this, all we're gaining here is power. So the reverse the running light, power, and a ground. Okay, so that's the only three these are. So they're not side specific. So I don't have to have like, you know, one for a turn signal, because the turn signal is already pre-wired. So what'll happen is we can tie them together, and I can use the other wiring harness, which is just as long. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're going to pull that whole door panel apart, do this same thing. And then what I'll do is I'll show you guys kind of my process of running across the dash, because I'm pretty picky about this stuff. So as you can tell from me doing what I've done, I'm going to pull this entire bottom of the dash apart because I want it to route in a certain spot. There's nothing worse than getting in a vehicle and they've got these wires like zip tied, you know what I'm talking about? Or the people that just run it like through the freaking door jamb. It's just the grossest install I've ever seen. And I'm very, very particular about, I want this to look like it came from the factory. So I don't think I'll probably wrap this the entire way, but what I may do is wrap it every, I don't know, 6 inches or so with tape. We'll just kind of see what's available back there to route it behind when we get this part of the dash off. Now that we've got both sides wired up, and when I say wired up, we've got it obviously connected here, ran up like it's supposed to be, and then ran through the door jamb like we did on the other side. So you can see I came up here. I actually came up with the wire, I don't know if you guys can see it, tied into this piece that went into the door. Okay, so now here's what we need to do next. We're gonna have to get all these panels basically off the truck. Okay, so we're gonna start, in order to get this one off, guys, I like to remove this one first. So we're gonna put the key in, set the parking brake, at least for now until I can put it back up into park. We're gonna pull the outer dash panel off, which, guys, this thing just unclips, just like this, all the way around. And of course, I probably won't be able to do it with one hand. I don't wanna break it. So we'll put it down in park, and then we'll go to the other side and we'll work our way across the bottom of the dash so we can get a real nice feed of the wire between, and then I'll probably clean these panels, but we'll get to that. So anyway, let's do that. Let's put it down in park, get this panel off, and then we'll go to the other side. Once we got the radio surround off, we can come over here and we open the glove box. If we push this, see how this folds down? We may have to we may have to put it back up to do this later, but look at all this junk in here. Some of the old paperwork from the people that owned this before. I don't even know what that is. Earplugs? Replacement pods? I don't know. All right, but anyway, all right, so you see all these 7mm, we got to get these guys out. So 1, 2, 3, where's the other one? That may be it. Oh, there's a fourth one back here behind the latch. And then, guys, there will be some all the way across the bottom. You can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's get all of those 7mm out. And then generally there is also, oh, this is all one piece. I'm thinking of a console truck. There should be a couple more, and I believe there's some up here. Yeah, there's a couple, maybe 1 or 2 up there. But now that I look at this, I'm so used to working on console trucks, we're actually gonna need to take that one off first, which is just 2 of those 7mm across the bottom, and we'll pull it straight out. The rest of it's held on with clips. We got to do that first because there's ones that are hidden back behind this guy. So the ones I showed you over here, there's actually only 2 on the bottom. Those are alignment dowels that we saw earlier. I just had my flashlight, it's probably buried under here somewhere. But the only 2, I was wrong, guys. I feel like it's been a minute since I've taken, like I said, one of these apart, but you can see the clips that hold this thing in. Some of them stayed in place. We'll get those out and reattached, but it only had, see, they make these for the console trucks. This is where your 2 pieces would go if you had a console. One of these, so there's a 7mm there. You can see there was 1 here on the bottom, 1 here, and then the ones that were over on this side. So we're all done now. All I have to do is I need to unclip this guy, get it out of the way, and we'll pull this completely out. But you can see what I'm talking about. Now we have a really nice channel that we can run across the dash and make sure that we, you know, not only stay out of the footwell, but at the same time, like, you know, make it look nice and factory. We may actually trace this line right here, follow that. And I'm kind of back and forth. I may put some loom on it. I don't want to tape it the entire way though. And you can see that I went up over the back side of the fuse block here. out of the way. Everything's good. At least I think. I don't think we'll have any problems plugging anything in. Yeah, no, we won't have any issues. All right, so zip tied to this wiring harness here across the middle, and I'm to right here. You can see I'm just gonna go underneath the steering column, tie it up with all the other wires that are down there, and we will be on the other side. Now you can see we're out of wire coming from the passenger side, right here under the column, but we have ample wire from this guy, right? So the other side, they give you pretty much the same lead on both sides. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut here, well, that's already cut, and we're going to try to solder these together. So what I'm gonna try to do is loop it where I want it, which is like right in this area here, and I'm gonna push it down under the dash, and the section that I cut off, I'm gonna also solder, so there'll be this connected to this, and then this extra will be soldered to that to go into the box down here, which we'll get to in a little bit later. So let me cut this off, get these soldered together with some nice clamps on them, well, taped up and soldered, and then we'll have a lead, just one lead between the two, because remember, we're not controlling anything other than lights, so we don't have to do anything special here. And then we'll have the leads to go into the box and a ground and all the stuff that we need to hook up, which like I said, we'll get to. You can see that I've got it wire loomed, got them soldered together. These are our leads that we need to hook up to power. So, all right guys, I gotta go look at the instructions because I don't remember which one goes where. One of them's a ground, one of them gets a feed from the reverse light, one of them gets a constant feed when the truck is on. So we need to take this guy off, this junction box up top, and we're gonna talk about where we're gonna pin in, because I may have to get some connectors. I'm gonna have to reach in here with two hands with the clips and get this out, I guess. Yeah, I can't do it with one hand down here. Let me get this out of the way after we got that screw out, and we'll take a look at where we need to go. I'm gonna try my best to show you guys exactly how I wired this up. Look, each truck's different. This should work on 03 to 06, which technically, guys, the mirrors are only designed, the ones I'm linking below are only designed for those years. So with that being said, I'm gonna try to, like I said, show you the best I can how we got this accomplished. So I actually ordered a plug, which I'll list in the description, this brown plug up here that plugs into the brake controller spot. Now, what I did after that, let me see if I can pull it out. I really don't want to touch any wires. I'm testing, so I didn't have anything like pulled up. All right, this is a 315, and what I did was I pulled the lock out and I moved your ground that you need, okay, for the white wire, or the gray wire on these mirrors. The ground is at the bottom right, and the switch 12 volts, which works with the headlights, is this guy here. Now, when you get this plug, it's gonna have two other wires in it. Guys, I pulled the lock out and moved this down to the very bottom left, okay? So that's how we get switch 12 volts. It will not come with a wire where this red one is. I pulled this apart and put that one there. All right, so that covers our ground. I don't know why I'm plugging this back in. Well, I want to show you guys it working. That covers our ground. Now, to get our reverse feed, this big brown connector right here, okay, depending on how your truck's equipped, it should be in the same spot on the 03 to 07. So see this big brown connector? The very top right hand corner is a light green wire that you see right there, and I'm using a Positap, which I absolutely love, to run the wire into that. So obviously we're going to clean this up and make it look a lot better. I'm going to solder some connections, but I want to show you guys it working. So here's the situation. When we put it, let me turn the key on. Okay, you can see when we turn the key on now, we have our running light, okay? Now, when we hit our blinker, that changes to a switchback, okay? Notice the running light's still going on the other side. This is a switchback. We turn this off, it goes back to white. Same way on the other side, so you can see it right there. All right, we turn it off, we're back to white, our running lights. Now, to make sure that our reverse lights work. I've got the truck on. I'm gonna put it in reverse. Well, I guess I need to put my foot on the brake. All right, now we have our backup lights. See those? Now I'm gonna try to put it in park while I'm showing you guys that, if this will work. May or may not work. I've got my wire in front of the camera. All right, let's see if we can get it to shut off. And it did. All right, so guys, now all I need to do is clean up this nasty mess that we've got for wiring. But hey, that's part of testing. You notice I've got my meter out. I was testing some stuff, but I'll list that 3015 plug in there. I'll list the Positaps. I really like those. And I'll kind of show you under there once we get all cleaned up before I put the box cover back on. Let's go under here and take a look. Once we got it all tied up, you can see we've got everything zip tied up nice and tidy out of the way. Then it comes, I went down this wire that comes out from up here. So this guy here, tied it right behind the OBD2 connector. Zip tied, zip tied, zip tied, all tidy. Can barely tell it's in there. So now I can put the box back in. I'm gonna clean the lid off. But guys, we have got everything accomplished. Here's what I will tell you guys. One thing I noticed. So I was setting these up, trying to, pin these wires out the way they need to be. And I noticed that unless the mirrors are plugged in, they will not work. So you do have to plug your switches in. Guys, I am not gonna put this back together in this video because I'm gonna be doing some cleaning. I probably will do most of that off camera as we go back together with the dash. I don't know, generally I like to clean from the top down, so I don't exactly know what I'm gonna be doing there. But let's take a look at, they look really good with the headlights, I think. The running lights, in my opinion. And then of course we've got our blinkers. I wonder what it does when we hit the hazards. Let's check that out. Of course, we've got the blinker on the inside and outside. Oh, cool. Yeah. Both working. Of course, the power, you guys saw that work earlier in the video. And then if we put our foot on the brake, put it down in reverse, we should have backup lights. We do. On both sides though. Do we have it on both sides? I didn't check this other side, I guess. Should work since they're tied together. All right. So like I said, you do have to have these guys hooked up. I will tell you guys, I had to bend the tab back. See that right there? See how easy that came out? If you bend this back just a little bit, don't go too far, it's just plastic, but then it will stay in better. That's the only thing, my only real complaint here. Is that you could also shove something in between here to kind of help keep that clip back. They're just not made as well as the factory. And honestly, guys, if you had a set of factory mirror plugs, you could swap the pins out and use a factory plug if you wanted to. But guys, I'm going to call this video finished. We've got a lot accomplished installing these mirrors. Guys, can you do it quicker than what I did? Absolutely you can, but I'm picky. And so I like my wires hidden. I like it to look as factory as possible. So if somebody pops that box open down the road when I sell this truck and sees a factory plug, other than the Positap, they're gonna have no idea that that's tied into the mirrors. So like I said, I just like to go above and beyond when it comes to wiring stuff. It just makes me crazy to have wires hanging under the dash. I don't like to see them. I like them to tuck up nice and look factory. If I had my way, I'd pull stuff apart. I mean, I guess I could like pull the dash out and like run it in the factory loom. I'm not gonna get that crazy, but I think what I did looks great. So let me know in the comments, guys. Like I said, I'll be listing all the parts I use, from the plug, the 3015 plug that I use, to the mirrors, to any of the tools that I use to get this accomplished. We had the soldering gun and some 3M tape and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. Guys, if you are not subscribed, you got to get subscribed. We got some really cool stuff coming for this dually build. Of course, like always, while you're doing all that, guys, ring that bell notification that notifies you every single time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.